Well, welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils Show. Normally we say happy Thursday, but Thursday sucks.
Terrible.
Worst 24 hours of my life. How's everybody doing? Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils Show, to an emergency podcast edition of the PHNX Sun Devils Show, as we have learned that Jaden Rashada will reportedly enter the transfer portal to seek other opportunities. The supposed Arizona State starting quarterback, or at least probably front runner to win the starting quarterback position at the start of spring camp or spring ball this year, in the portal, most likely. Gents, what are we thinking?
Well, not the news I expected today, especially after Kenny went out at spring ball this morning and said he didn't expect a lot of guys to be leaving in the portal. And I know that sometimes you just don't know, but it's a gut punch for sure. And it's one that kind of shifts how you're preparing for not only spring football, but for the summer and fall. But Totri, I know you're feeling under the weather. Did this just make you even more sick?
You want the honest truth? The honest truth of how I'm feeling?
Spin zoning?
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You knew that this was going to be, a potential possibility at any point with every player.
Yes.
I think, and yes, it hurts to lose a quarterback with the talent and potential of a guy like Jaden Rashada. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. This kid has the potential we've seen to be a really talented quarterback at this level. However, there is no begging for these guys to stay. I know how much Jaden was getting in terms of NIL, and he's worth a lot more, right? And I'm not sitting there and saying that it's all NIL related. But at the end of the day, there's a quarterback competition. Kenny Dillingham brought in a quarterback that he felt could compete with Jaden Rashada to be that starting quarterback for the Arizona State Sun Devils. And whether it be NIL, whether it be, the quarterback competition maybe got a little too hot, whatever it is, it makes things maybe a little bit lighter on Sam Leavitt and Trenton Bourguet in terms of trying to figure out who this starting quarterback is going to be. Sam Leavitt, obviously, now the front runner. But yes, it does suck to lose out on the potential of a guy with a cannon of an arm like Jaden Rashada.
That's the thing. ASU fans, the cynical ones, and a lot of U of A fans might say and would have said, if this guy was our starting quarterback going into what was ASU starting quarterback going into this year, what did he do last year? He had some bad performances as a freshman. Why should we expect this? But it's not about what he did or what he's shown so far. It's about why people love him when he practices. It's about what you see when he practices. It's that raw ability.
Definitely.
And the flick. You can just see the unreal potential in this kid, and losing him to the portal, even if you think that, Sam Leavitt had the edge early or Bourguet had the edge early, it doesn't even matter if he doesn't win the starting job this year. Just the idea and potential of him going to a different school and succeeding in a place that he could have at Arizona State really does stink. Look, Totri mentioned the silver lining. Like, it is a good thing to have your quarterback competition not as competitive going into fall camp, because the old saying, if you have 2-3 starting quarterbacks, you have none.
I mean, but at the same time, like, the whole thing we talked about when Sam transferred here, and it was a question like, is Jaden staying? Is he not going to stay? And it was like, I'm not running from the competition. Iron sharpens iron. I want to be here. Like, I'm your guy. And I think that you can look at it both ways, and both could be true. Truth number one is that if you have two guys who can push each other and compete with each other, it'll make them better. Mm-hmm. And number two is that if you have one clear-cut guy, then you have a way better chance to implement your offense to get one guy more comfortable. But my question is, are they going to go get somebody else? Because it feels like this would not just be where the quarterback room is at the start of the season. I feel like they're going to go portal shopping a little bit, and whether they get somebody who can compete with Sam or not is still up into the air. But now you're at a point where, like, yeah, he wasn't practicing because of a thumb injury. You don't know how much that plays into it. Leavitt's had a good spring camp. That's all great and all, but you don't have, like, it's not like Sam Leavitt is the answer at quarterback, right? Like, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, I'm feeling super confident about the quarterback room because, yeah, if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one. Well, that was two unproven guys. I'd like to at least have two shots to try to figure it out instead of just one. And now ASU just has one.
Yeah, a couple things. Kenny did quote retweet the initial tweet saying someone will be getting an elite talent and a great person will always be rooting for you. So Kenny, even when it comes to the quarterback, he's always wishing these guys the best. But I do want to say, a lot of people talk about Sam Leavitt and rightfully so throughout the spring. Trenton Bourguet is somebody at that quarterback position that, I'm not saying that he's going to go out there and be the starting quarterback, but he has had a very nice spring as well in terms of the quarterback competition. And there are some people that don't want to hear that don't want Trenton Bourguet to be the starting quarterback for Arizona State going into the 2024 season. And I'm not saying he's going to be, but we're going to sit up here, and we have pretty much all spring giving Sam Leavitt a lot of credit for what he's done. Trenton Bourguet has been just as good during certain practices. I know it was Tuesday's practice. It looked like Trenton probably had his best day. Now, again, I'm not sitting here and saying that Jaden is running from the competition. I'm not going to say that that was all NIL related. I'm sure there's a little bit that goes into it. But, hey, it's easier for a guy when someone enters, comes to your roster from the portal. It's real easy to sit firm and say, you know what? Iron sharpens iron. I'm here for the competition. And then guess what?
Yep.
Now the competition's here, and you see what he's capable of, and you see maybe that opportunity's starting to slip away from you, whether that because you're injured or whatever. Then it starts to be a little bit scarier to sit put of maybe I don't have that chance anymore.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of things that this could be, and that's why the world of NIL is so. You have to kind of tiptoe over everything, and that stinks. You don't want to assume that either this was because of competition, this was because of injury, this was because of NIL, and it could be a combination of all of those things, or it could be none of them at all. But it does, as we said, it just stinks about the potential of it. And told you're completely right. The quarterback competition is not a one-man race. Like Bourguet has been winning it at times and has had much better days than Leavitt, and Leavitt better days than Bourguet as well. But the bottom line is now you have two quarterbacks on your roster that are scholarshiped. That's it. Like you do have to go get another guy. You almost have to. And I don't know if that's something Kenny's going to be seeking immediately. I don't know if he's going to have to think that. I mean, we've seen Navi take some big reps and he's been a little impressive, but like it's scholarship guys. You need those, and you can give them a scholarship guy. And you can give somebody a scholarship, and it is just at the end of the day a title you put on somebody. Like it doesn't depend on BJ Green wasn't a scholarship guy, but still, just the fact that you only have three guys that could really even start at this, even come close to starting, stinks. The one thing I will say about, Kenny, of course, is going to wish his guys well, but Kenny has so often said, like, he's not going to lie to a kid. So, God, I would love to be a fly on the wall in a conversation with either the quarterback room or just Kenny and Rashada, and just hear what he had to say to him, because there is no way that Kenny has talked to Rashada and not told him the truth about what this competition is going to be and what his future is going to hold. Yeah.
I mean, it's all confusing at this point, and maybe we'll get some more details. I doubt we'll get the full story until maybe we see if we get some details on if he has like a massive NIL deal coming. We do have a couple super chats. One from Donald 199. Thank you, saying don't let the door hit you on the way out. Donald, Donald is very much in the same camp. It's not surprising. He's one of our diehards. When you're not part of ASU, Donald does not rock with you. And then we have another one from Easton saying, I could smell this coming with the Sam Leavitt transfer. Something seemed off. Thank you, 499 super chat. And I agree that, like, for a second when he first transferred over, when Leavitt transferred over, it was, okay, is this something that scares Jaden Rashada away? But it was the response, and it wasn't just speculation, but the response of, like, Jaden Rashada being like, I am ready for this competition. And I think the thing that really bugs me is that he didn't get a chance to really compete for it, right? Like, we're talking about potential and everything like that. He's been sitting out with a thumb injury, not like his fault, not something that he is like, we're going to hold against him.
Fault, though. It is his fault.
That's fair, but it's not something like guys get injured, right? Like it is what it is, but we didn't even get to see him compete with this. We didn't get to see him get his second year, like get spring ball in there and like see how much he has developed, see how much he has grown. And like that question mark also leaves me a little bit more upset with a sour taste in my mouth. I appreciate Kenny being like, hey, somebody's going to get somebody who's like really talented, but I know he has to do that and he's always doing that, but it's a tough pill to swallow. I think we do have a statement from Jaden Rashada as well.
Yeah, so Rashada officially tweeted out his announcement to go into the portal. We'll go ahead and pull it up. He said, to ASU, I want to first start off by thanking my teammates. We shared a bond that I'll remember forever. Love each and every one of you guys. Thankful for the time we spent together and wish you guys the best of luck. I want to thank everybody in academics and the cafeteria that made my time there easier. I want to thank Coach Joe, Coach CC, Alex, and the whole strength staff that has helped me progress in the weight room and on the field. Want to also thank all the coaches that have gotten me better and helped me not only as a player, but as a person as well. A special thank you to Coach Dilly, ! One of a kind coach who is the same person every day and cares a lot about the university and its players. Thanks for sharing your passion and knowledge of the game with me. With that being said, I'll be entering my name in the transfer portal, seeking the best fit for my career. God's plan. At least it's a good transfer portal graphic. So I've seen some really bad ones.
I love the thanking the cafeteria. I love that part.
That's good.
Thanking the people in this cafeteria.
But look, in all seriousness, again, we've talked to Jaden Rashada. Right, we've had Harlan Rashada, Jaden's dad, on the show, and you know they're a great family. They're great individuals, great human beings. It's just clearly not the fit, right? It's not the fit. Part of that could be with the coaching staff as it stands right now. Now that there is a little bit heftier of a competition, but one thing I did want to say in terms of the him not being able to compete this year or try and earn that spot in spring. To your point, Erik, and it's something that I brought up in years past on this show. Part of being a great player in college sports and really any sport is being able to be on the field, right? You have to be able to stay healthy. And I get there
availability is availability.
Absolutely. I get there are things that, prevent players from competing, practicing, whatever at certain times. Yes, this was a freak thing while he was moving, hurt his thumb. And then you look back last year at the leg injury. Yeah, I get those things happen, but guess what? You have to be able to stay on the field if you want to compete. And if you can't, and somebody's, starting to take your job or you feel threatened by it, then that's that. Like there's not really a point where you can be like, well, how long do you say he's got so much potential? It sucks that we couldn't see him compete. Absolutely. But at a certain point, Arizona State has got to look in their best interest. And I'm not saying he was forced out the door by any means, because I don't think that's the case at all. But I can't sit here and be like, well, it's maybe next fall, right? Yeah, because it's
that would be one thing if we were talking about this next spring. Like the dude didn't even get a chance to play his freshman season. But I get what you're saying. Like it was tracking down that path. I mean, when the thumb injury or the hand injury news came out, you did get that sense a little bit like, oh shit, here we go in another roadblock. But at the end of the day, man, we just don't know, and that's why this whole thing is so hard, is because you just don't know what you're getting out of him, and you don't know if it would have been better if he stayed, and you don't know if it would have been better if he left, or you might now, but.
Well, I mean, and it's also tough because you guys are all right, and Tocho, you're right. Like you have to be available to be a great college football player. I don't know if he's been injured enough to the point where it's like that's going to be his label for the rest of his career, right?
Like he's still a freshman,
right? Like, and that's kind of
did have injuries at the high school level.
Right. And again, like it's completely possible. Like there is a reality where Jaden Rashada stays at ASU and doesn't ever get to have consistent playing time because of injuries. That 100% would have been on the table if he stayed here. It's on the table at whatever school he goes to next. But this is a guy, it's another talented quarterback that everybody was extremely excited about. And it's tough because you felt this like this kind of bubble building for ASU football. They were finally getting out of that rock bottom, that depth. And I don't think that this completely like throws your program off. I think that you have enough faith in Kenny and the coaching staff and the team that they've built around them that they're going to be able to sustain this hit. Maybe find another quarterback, maybe not. But it's just hard to continue to go through something like this, even from like a fan perspective, right? Like I know that, you have to look at the team a lot of different ways, but if you're just an ASU football fan and you were excited just to at least see if Jaden Rashada can be your starting quarterback next year, to see those plays from last year when he did actually play on the field and be like, wow, what if this talent could translate over an entire season in the Big 12? How huge would that be for the program? It's now you're just getting that rug completely pulled out under you with no warning at all. And it's hard.
Isn't it just so funny how like drastic shit can change? And I know a lot of this was a victim of circumstance for this quarterback room, but dog, first game of the year last year, Rashada's touchdown pass to X, the over the shoulder catch and the unbelievable ball. The excitement, bottle that shit up and inject it into my veins for the rest of my life. That is all I wanted to feel. And then you get the injury. And then you get an injury to another quarterback, and 8 offensive linemen go down. And then the 9th one goes down because he was getting out of a fucking golf cart. Like it was a shitstorm. And it was a massive earthquake, and there are still tremors right now.
Yeah.
I don't know when this weird thing is gonna end. Like Rashada points out in his transfer announcement, what a unique coach. Thank you so much for bringing it every day.
Yeah.
But with that being said, when are we going to get out of the with that being said?
Yeah.
With that being said, I love being here. With that being said, I'm sick of it, man.
But it's college sports. It's college sports. Colorado has 14 players.
That's what I'm sick of, Totri.
Open Tuesday.
I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree. That sucks. The portal with the regulations or the lack there of regulations and rules right now, it sucks because you're not only seeing it in college football, but you're seeing it in college basketball where it is the Wild West and it is we're shuffling to the highest bidder. And it sucks. And again, I'm not saying some of these guys are entering. I would say more so in football, it's less of where can I go get the biggest bag and more so of like, okay, where's the best opportunity for me to play immediately? Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably what you'll see. I think when Jaden Rashada makes his announcement, I think he probably will be the starting quarterback wherever he ends up going. But I do want to say, as much as the loss of potential hurts here, the sky is not falling. Okay? No. The sky is not falling because Jaden Rashada is entering the portal. And I know there's going to be people that say that they're laughing about it. Like, oh my God, that's it. That's it for Arizona State. If anything, this should give people more faith in Sam Leavitt to say that Sam Leavitt has, I'm not saying he's officially won the quarterback job, but for it to get to this point where Jaden Rashada feels like he needed to enter the transfer portal at, with a week till the spring game, it says a lot about what Sam Leavitt has done in a short period of time at Arizona State. And it should make you maybe feel a little bit more confident, like you said a little bit earlier, Shane, that, hey, this quarterback competition is maybe starting to quiet down a little bit and your guy is maybe starting to really rise to the top. That's where you should be right now. And I'm not sitting here saying that there's not going to be more guys entering the portal because there probably will be, right? But that's the case with every program in college sports right now. If you can keep the blue chip guys, that's awesome. But what Kenny wants to do is keep the guys that want to be here. Jaden didn't want to be here right now. And that's okay.
Yeah, and that's Kenny sticking to his word and sticking to kind of what he's done and building him up when he leaves and not tearing him down. A lot of people in the chat are pointing it out. Rumors are Georgia is one of the places that could land Jaden Rashada. If that is the case, then you got to throw your hands up. If Georgia comes calling with the NIL deals and the money that they're offering,
hang the banner. Yeah. Arizona State recruited a Georgia quarterback.
Woohoo!
God,
we appreciate all of you guys being in here right now. Don't forget to hit that like button, even if you're a Wildcat fan, while you're here, and subscribe to PHNX. If he ends up at Georgia, apparently some of the other schools, Chris Cartman put this out there, Northwestern and UCLA.
Those are the ones that I'm on way more par with, because as Tocher mentioned, you would assume it's because he wants more of an opportunity. Like we saw the whole saga with him before he was even a collegiate athlete go down of the $1 million here, $1 million there. I'm done with this. Cancel out all the noise. I just want to play ball. And I believe that. I still believe that. I don't think that's BS. I don't think that's BS at all.
No, absolutely not. Knowing how much money he made this year, it is about ball.
Yeah. And so the fact that he would just go to a school because they're going to give him money is, I will never believe that. What I will believe is maybe he just wanted out because he felt like this would be the best for him. Because he felt, as Totri mentioned, I might have slipped a little bit behind. And again, this is all speculative. Like nothing we're saying we know for a fact he thinks. But it's the signs are pointing to this guy was playing a little bit better than me. You know, it's either right now or I hang on through fall. The portal's closing soon. Like I got to make my decision now, and that's why I think this whole window thing's a little weird. And I get you need an out. Like again, inherently the transfer portal and more power for these student athletes is a good thing, but this whole window is just kind of because it forces kids. It makes them sit there and think and overthink and be like, well, if you know the portal closes in 7 days, I got to make a decision now. And
I'm injured, and the guy who's actually playing right now, two of them, Bourget and Leavitt, are playing well in spring ball. I don't even have the chance to compete with them.
Let me get the record straight for the chat too, real fast. There's no coping going on. Asking this, is this a good thing?
No, it's not a good thing.
Totri, is this a good thing? Fuck no.
You'd rather have
it's not a good thing. On your team. It is not a good thing. You want to have healthy competition. You just got to look at the silver lining of things, because the reality is this is college football nowadays, and you are without a guy who was probably believed to be one of the up and coming players in the Big 12 next year.
Yeah,
got to get on with it.
And like Totri said, the sky's not falling. Like it's not falling.
No, it's not falling by any means. You lost one player. I get it's a quarterback. It was in a quarterback competition. If this was a bona fide starter, if this was, you know, a guy like Noah Fafita at U of A, right, who there is no quarterback competition, right, then you're maybe like, oh, okay, this is my starting quarterback. Jaden Rashada was in a competition, okay? Now, if we're talking in a week and you're starting running back, tight end, center, number one wide receiver, and your linebacker leave, then the sky's falling. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's a quarterback competition. These guys know what they're doing, okay? This didn't come out of nowhere, I imagine, for Kenny Dillingham. This wasn't something that popped on his desk 5 minutes before it happened. Kenny is close with these guys. He's built those relationships. He's built the trust. And at the end of the day, Kenny Dillingham is a lunch pail, blue-collar kind of guy, right? You're going to show up every day to work, and you're going to work your ass off. And if you don't want to do that, right, if you don't want to work harder than anybody and have the most fun than anybody in the country, right, that's his saying for Arizona State, then this isn't the place for you. And I'm not sitting here saying that, again, your team is better off without Jaden Rashada, because I don't think that. I think any program in the nation would be lucky to have a Jaden Rashada in their quarterback room. But at the end of the day, you can't sit here and just soak in like, oh, he's gone. He's gone. That's not how it works here. You got to move on. Like you said, this is college football where it is right now. You're either going to get used to it, or you are going to have a really, really tough time coping with reality over the next few years.
Totri, you can totally no comment this, because I'm just kind of throwing it at you without preparation. You were able to talk to his dad a bit. Did you ever get the sense that there was ever a possibility of it? Or, I mean, it is always just like there's always a sense in today's college sports, but did you ever kind of get the sense in the last couple of weeks?
To be honest with you, no, not really. Not really. There was a lot of, I will say that was prior to the samples news coming out.
I think that had a big part of this?
I don't know if it had a big part, but I think it's definitely something to consider. I think it's definitely something to consider with the impact that Rashad Samples has had on building this roster. But I didn't ever get the sense. I'll be completely honest. I didn't think that Jaden Rashada entering the portal was going to be something massive. But again, things change fast, right? You can really, really, in a couple practices, really start to blow away some of these coaches. And I think that's probably what happened a little bit.
Yeah, and things change fast, and we'll get to a lot of things that'll change fast. We're just tuning in. PHNX Sun Devils Emergency Pod. Jaden Rashada, a starting quarterback to start the season last year, entering the transfer portal with 4 years of eligibility left. Totri, as you said, things change fast in college football. There's going to be guys in the portal that ASU is going to get. not breaking news. Like they're going to get guys in the next couple of weeks from different schools that have entered the portal in the spring. How important is it to get a quarterback on the roster in this cycle?
I think it's super important. I think, like you guys said, there is now only 2 scholarship quarterbacks on your roster. And, I know Navi has been practicing and getting reps in, but still a guy that you'd like to see maybe a little bit more development before you actually have him as a potential option. You saw the injury bug hit the quarterback room real hard last year. You need to have another guy. You absolutely need to go get a third scholarship quarterback just to feel a little comfortable at this point. Now, of course, there's going to be players entering the portal, so there will be guys available. I wouldn't be shocked if it was more of a veteran, though. Just because you look at Leavitt, you already know he's a young guy with a lot of eligibility, and you look to the class of 2025, that's really when you've got your cream of the crop quarterback in Tollefson coming in. So I don't think there's really a need to go get another guy to compete for the starting spot. I think you've got your competition pretty set with Leavitt in Bourget, not to mention you bring a guy in the spring cycle at that quarterback spot. What are the realistic odds that he's going to be a starting quarterback, missing the entirety of spring ball? That's something that we haven't really talked about when it, comes into play with Jaden Rashada going to another school. He's missed the entire spring season for whatever program he goes to. That is certainly going to impact his chances of starting, and it's going to do the same for Arizona State bringing in a quarterback. So a bridge veteran is probably the guy that I would expect them to go get.
Yeah, quarterback competitions are won and lost in fall camp, though. You can wow in the spring game. You can wow in spring ball, but at the end of the day, like, first of all, Jaden Rashada, again, is still a freshman in college.
Yep.
Like, it is his second semester in college. Everyone has to remember that. Like, these guys aren't in their second year of college football. Technically they are, or technically they aren't, but like it feels like it.
Yeah.
It's the spring ball going into the next year. So yes, it will impact him, but I also think that this fall camp is going to be weird, man, because you're going to see these 2 quarterbacks that we've been watching that are here. Throw in Navi, who's looked solid for a guy who's not a scholarship quarterback, and probably a third guy, hopefully a third guy, because you really can't afford, as Totri said, to go into a brand new conference season with 2 starting quarterbacks on scholarship when something so insane last year happened with injuries, and hopefully averages figure themselves out a little bit, and this offensive line can put together a better season. But you really hope they get somebody in the portal to add some competition and spice to this room.
Yeah, and
but I will. What?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please, after you.
Just one thing to keep in mind: there were players that transferred to Arizona State because of Jaden Rashada. Kamari Wilson, the safety from Florida, and Raleek Brown was another one that both had relationships with Jaden Rashada prior to their time in Arizona State. That it was certainly a maybe not a driving factor or force, but it was certainly a part of the puzzle for those guys to come to Arizona State. I don't think Raleek would enter the portal. Kamari, though, is a name simply because, again, he had the Jaden Rashada relationship. He's at a position where there are a lot of, there's a lot of really talented guys. Maybe that's a name to watch over the next couple of days with that portal open. And again, it's portal open on Tuesday, guys. There's still 12 more days of portal talk.
We're just getting into the meat of it.
Oh, 100%.
Getting into the meat of it. There's going to be a ton of movement, and not just for ASU. Again, this isn't an ASU problem. It's a problem that all schools are having. With that being said, it's still an issue. It is still an issue. You got to hope you could do damage control, and I know for a fact Kenny's not gonna BS a guy. He's gonna have his conversations. But it does come at strange timing, especially with the comments he made this morning that Erik brought up at the top of the show, saying they don't expect a lot of people to transfer.
He didn't say nobody. He didn't say. He said absolutely nobody will enter the portal, and like we've mentioned multiple times, this is just the way that things go. But I'm seeing a tweet about just Jaden Rashada's timeline as a recruit and a player, and I think it's kind of like the perfect encapsulation of like modern day college sports. So June 2022, he commits to Miami. November the same year, decommits from Miami, flips to Florida. December 2022, signs his letter of intent with Florida. January, next month, decommits from Florida. Next month, commits to ASU. Year later, enters the transfer portal. And that's not me sitting here. Like, I'm not sitting here shitting on Jaden Rashada, because I agree with Shane where I'm part of a player empowerment movement. I think these guys should do what's best for them. But just that from being somebody who has not finished his freshman year.
Yeah, you read that to a 1950s football purist and they fucking die of a heart attack.
It's the way that things are. We've talked about it in basketball. We talked about it with football, but it does feel like ASU is getting kind of the wrong side of it right now. And who knows, with the way that Kenny works and the way this program is, they're not alone in that stance. And I think with time, there will be guys leaving to come to ASU. It's just right now, this is it's a tough look.
The whole thing before college, I throw out the window.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It was also a university issue. It was not a Rashada diva problem. You look into there's a great story that the Athletic wrote, I believe, just kind of timelining the whole experience of him getting recruited and him at the Elite 11 and I remember after the whole saga, like that's all people wanted to talk to him about.
Yeah.
And he's just like, dude, he's 17 years old?
Right.
He just wants to throw the rock, man. That being said, you did know you were getting a guy who had not a past, because as I said, like I do think a lot of it was on the schools, but you did know you got a guy that had potential of leaving, and I mean everybody has a potential of leaving, but especially a guy as high profile as Rashada, it stinks. Let's talk about the bigger problem, though. It's April 18th. Arizona State still doesn't have an athletic director. Woo! There's nobody to do damage control. Bobby Hurley is apparently getting paid as much as WNBA players to fund a program over 10 years. Like, it's disgusting. Speaking of WNBA player salaries, what the fuck are we doing, guys?
Yeah,
that sucks.
That's a different conversation.
You saw the deal she's getting with Nike, though?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Of course.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Right, rightfully so. But that's the biggest problem right now is the whole athletic program.
Yeah, and I covered it earlier this morning. John Wilner put out an article just basically diving into how ASU basketball is funded, what percentage and everything like that. And you can go back and we're not going to get deep in the numbers now, but you can go back and watch that show. And it's pretty pathetic. It's pretty pathetic, and it's definitely not the type of allocation of assets for a program that's going to succeed. And the athletic department as a whole has shown that they're not in the best spot to get any of these programs to just constantly get better. Right. And now you're sitting here and you're starting to see the ramifications of everything. Somebody in the chat said Ray Anderson did a number on this program. Like it is all taking effect now. You see ASU basketball, there are players who are leaving. Bobby has to work with a new roster every single year. You see ASU football, you feel like things are getting better. Boom. The player that arguably you could get the most excited about in Jaden Rashada is gone after barely even playing for you. Like it is hard. And there is some good news, though, in the chat. Sweet Prince Kenny with a 199 super chat says, you want me to be nice, Shane? Well, you look good.
Thanks, man. I feel terrible.
He does look good. It's the hoodie and the tight like joggers.
You wear pain well, my friend.
I appreciate that, brother.
Can I interest you in another Jaden? Can I interest you in class of 2026 quarterback Jaden O'Neal?
I think I'm done with Jaden. I think I'm done with Jaden at this point.
He's set for an unofficial visit.
Still on the market.
No, thank you.
Stop it.
No, thanks.
Unofficial visit this Friday. Just saying.
Can he play immediately? No.
No. Kids, what, like 16 right now? 15? I'm not even sure he could drive to practice.
We did have another super chat from earlier that we didn't get to. It's from Terrence. Said, only question that matters is that do you think he's still better than Noah? Thanks for the super chat.
I would like to clear the air because there were people, and you can go find the clip. I never said that Jaden Rashada was better than Noah Fafita. I said Jaden Rashada had the potential to be better, and I will absolutely stand on that. Jaden Rashada absolutely has the intangibles and potential to be a better quarterback than Noah Fafita. Will he? Well, I don't fucking know. Guess we'll find out in the next couple of years. I think he's got the potential to be. That's what I said.
Totri, is this true? Did Saul say on the U of A show that he was going to get a fat head of you and guests can throw stuff at your face at an event?
I don't know.
Would you enjoy that?
If he did.
Because that's rent free, I feel like.
That is kind of
it's always rent free. I would love to know how many Wildcat fans are in here just because they thought they were going to impact my day whatsoever. I would love to know.
Yep. This certainly
We've even got Colorado fans. Colorado fans loving dancing on our grave. I know we got a couple of them in here.
Beats by Bandess, your mortal enemies in here.
They're clowning on ASU losing Jaden Rashada. Last I checked, the portal opened 3 days ago, and you had 14 players enter the portal. So you could sit down and talk to me nice there.
Yeah. This definitely impacted my day because we are here and we had to go live, and I'm frankly exhausted. But I appreciate all you guys being here. Not enough likes. So
not nearly enough.
We're gonna pray and pander to you guys. Guys, you guys look so good today, chat. You guys look so. Did you do something new with your hair? I think I noticed. You leave us a like, subscribe to PHNX, guys. Final thoughts on this whole, I guess, the Jaden Rashada era at Arizona State coming to a close.
Hey,
Coach, you can go first.
Look at, man. At this point, unless something crazy happens, which it's Arizona State, so there's always a chance. This will be like the first time in a long time that a quarterback with the number 5 doesn't start for Arizona State.
That's
First
very
time
true.
In a very long time since Manny Wilkins.
Yep, that is very true. And as long as he doesn't transfer to LSU, I'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll see. This does suck. It's not a good thing. There's no copium here. I'm not going to try to spin this and say we're better off without him. I think there are certain things that you can point to that are potential positives, as in clarity in the quarterback room, and having somebody who's here doesn't want to be here can always end up with a poor ending. But it's not the end of the world. The program's not collapsing. Kenny Dillingham is not losing control on anything.
Your team isn't relocating.
Yeah. It could be worse.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say on this is don't attack the kid.
Yes.
I already see people making a deal about it. This was expected because of the whole saga. Do your fucking research, man. Just dig into the situation of him being recruited before you comment on it. As always, don't make it
just maybe listen to us. Because we've told you that.
Yeah. As always, don't attack the student athletes. They are students. They are quite literally young adults. So, yeah. Direct your anger toward other things, like Alex Morello, who's a piece of shit scumbag.
Fuck that guy.
Anything else, gents, before we get out of here on a nice emergency podcast on this fine Thursday?
We'll obviously be back live tomorrow to break down everything else that kind of surrounds the situation, the transfer portal, potentially some guys that ASU could get. So this is just one piece of the puzzle of the transfer portal. And this is, again, just the third day in. So buckle up and stay locked in.
Been a pleasure. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at ShadeDeef. You can follow Eric on Twitter at Eric Ruby with a K. You can follow Totri on Twitter at Anthony_Totri.
Sick as always.
And we'll see you guys for a Friday fun day tomorrow. But until then, peace and go Devils.
We all silly like the mayor.